Good morning. I'm Tracey Thomas from the St. Joe County Public Library, and I am here today to talk with Nancy Menk about the St. Mary's College Madrigals. Nancy holds the Mary Lou and Judd Leighton Chair in Music at St. Mary's College, where she is celebrating her 37th year as the professor of music and the director of choral activities. She also serves as chair of the Department of Music and teaches graduate conducting at the University of Notre Dame. At St. Mary's College, Professor Menk conducts the women's choir and the collegiate choir. She teaches conducting, and she prepares the Madrigal singers for the annual Christmas Madrigal dinners. Under her direction, the women's choir has performed on tour throughout the United States, and it regularly commissions, performs, and records new works for women's voices for their series on the Pro Organo label. Nancy, it's really a pleasure to be talking with you today. Thanks for joining us.
Great to be here.
Let's talk a little bit about madrigals in general, and then specifically about the St. Mary's College Madrigal dinners. Can we start by saying how many years has St. Mary's College been holding a madrigal dinner?
This is the 48th annual and the first and hopefully last virtual dinner.
Yeah, I hope so too. And how long have you been connected with the event?
Well, all 38 years. When I first came here, I had no idea what a madrigal dinner was or how to do one, and I actually tried to get out of it. But Clayton Henderson, many South Bend folks will remember Clayton Henderson. So he was a wonderful musician and musicologist, and he was chair of the music department at St. Mary's and he hired me. And he said, no, you are not going to get out of this one. This is a tradition. And so that first year, he really helped me out because I didn't know what I was doing. And after a couple of years, I finally got the hang of it. And now I think our madrigal dinners are stronger than they've ever been.
Oh, wow. So did it grow in sort of scope over the years?
Yes, at least from my first one, it did. We've, especially in the last 10 years or so, because we've added the dancers back in, which we had in the past, and they dropped off. So we have in a normal live madrigal dinner, we have authentic Renaissance dances by our students who are taking dance at St. Mary's. We've added in jugglers, and most recently, thanks to Susan Baxter, professor at St. Mary's College, we have an original play that she has written and produced with her husband, Richard Baxter, which is wonderful. And she's added on to it over the years, varying chapters of the characters. And we have a wonderful recorder consort of instrumentalists from the South Bend area that perform. We have trumpeters that introduce our fanfares that introduce each section of the dinner. I'm probably leaving something out, but yes, it's grown to, and it's about a 2-hour production in full length with music, dance, theater, instrumental music, humor.
That sounds really wonderful.
Production. We've also added in recent years a children's menu, which is great because we really try to encourage families to attend.
Yeah, that does sound lovely. And it's in that beautiful space too, right?
It has been all of these years, but that there are new plans for that building. It's actually turning into a new center for our nursing department. And so we're not going to be able to use that room anymore starting next year, but we have another beautiful room on our campus in the Student Center, the Rice Commons, which should function in about the same way and maybe even be more beautiful. So next year, assuming we're back in person, that is where our madrigal dinners will be. Our patrons will have no trouble finding it. It's just on the opposite side of the parking lot.
Oh, wonderful. Well, that sounds great. Well, can you give us a brief definition of what a madrigal is? It's a kind of song, am I right?
Yes, originally a madrigal was also a form of a poem, but also a song. And it really developed, we always think of the English madrigal, and that is a big tradition. But the piece itself actually originated in Italy. And the original form or style of this piece was called a fratella. And then as it gained in popularity, it moved into England and even somewhat to France and Germany. And this would be in the late 1500s, early 1600s, and even on into the 1700s. Most madrigal dinners nowadays, and even since the whole thing actually started, at least in America, which was primarily on college campuses and with some community groups and even some churches, it has sort of morphed into, we use the name madrigal dinner, but it's actually a dinner that takes place in a pseudo-medieval or Renaissance setting. with music from that period, but not necessarily only madrigals. For example, at St. Mary's, since our madrigal dinners focus so much on the Christmas season, I wanted our music to be reflective of Christmas. And so we actually do more old carols than actual madrigals. They're still in that sort of same form of verse, refrain,
Mhm.
but they're actually more related to the Christmas season. And we even do some pieces by 20th century composers that sound like they were written in the Renaissance with that sort of Renaissance flavor to them.
Feel to it, yeah.
One of the earliest collegiate madrigal dinners, it's interesting, was started in 1956 at Illinois State University, and they did their madrigal dinners for 2 weeks solid for 60 years. And then in 2015, that was their 60th anniversary, and they stopped doing them.
Goodness.
Yeah, and so we're still going strong at 48, hopefully making it to 50 and beyond. As long as
Uh-huh.
our audiences come and enjoy it, we'll continue it.
Yeah, well, it's a wonderful tradition and for something to have continued that long and to have given so many different students at St. Mary's College a chance to participate. What a continuity. That's really a lovely thing, I think.
Yes,
So,
over the years it's changed a bit. When I first came here, we did the Madrigal dinner with men, also women and men from Notre Dame. And over the years, sort of the music program got stronger at Notre Dame, and there were more opportunities for the men to sing over there. And so it was harder to get them to come over to St. Mary's. And I started thinking, this is a women's college. There's no reason we can't have all women madrigal dinners. And
mhm,
so I changed that. I don't even know how long ago, maybe 15 years now.
mhm.
And I'm really glad I did because it allows more of our women to participate. We just had to make some more costumes, and I had to find some new music that was suitable for women's voices only.
Sure, right. How often do you change the music? Is it something that's consistent year after year after year, or are you making changes regularly?
Certain parts are consistent every year. We've been using the same processional and recessional for years because we like them, and it's just enough music to get us in and out of the banquet hall.
Mm,
Um, and certain parts of a madrigal dinner are really traditional. You need to have a wassail song when the
mm,
wassail comes around. So we have two or three that we alternate between. And you always want to have the Boar's Head Carol. It's a very important part of the Madrigal dinner, my favorite part, actually. And so we always have a Boar's Head Carol. In fact, when we first became an all-women Madrigal dinner, that was a problem because I had trouble finding a women's voice arrangement of the Boar's Head Carol. And so I adapted one from a mixed voice arrangement, which was sort of successful. But then I finally saw that a composer in Alaska had written one for men's voices, and I thought, boy, and it was a wonderful arrangement. Grant Cochran is his name, and I commissioned him to take that men's arrangement and rearrange it for women, and so that is the one that we have been doing ever since. And it's a great arrangement, and you'll hear it in our Madrigal dinner this year, but you will see it in the form of a virtual choir. As we couldn't get together in person, we made a virtual choir uh, video of it. And I just want our viewers to know that even though you'll see the women standing very close to each other without masks, that is all done by strategic video editing. We actually we actually performed each singer far away from each other distance, and that's why it was okay for them not to wear the masks.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. What a great opportunity. So a fresh recording that you've made for this particular event this year.
Yes, yes.
And what a neat thing to have a specially commissioned version of it. That really sounds like an exciting connection to
Yes, that's one thing we do at St. Mary's regularly is commission new music, but it's nice to have this particular special arrangement of the Boar's Head Carol arranged just for us.
for the women. Yes. Has there been any particular performance or experience over your 38 years that stands out for you as a particularly memorable moment connected with Madrigal Dinner?
I don't know. I mean, they're all memorable. Each year when we start to do it, I sort of feel like, oh boy, here we go again. If I
Big
just
undertaking.
one more time. But then, the students get so excited about it. It's always new students. And by the time we do the actual dinner, I'm just as excited as they are to present it for our audiences. The Boar's Head that whole thing is sort of special to me. It's my own personal tradition that 2 or 3 days before the magical dinner, I drive to Wakarusa to Martin's Custom Butchering. A shout out to them for giving us a pig's head every year and
Aw.
bring it back in my car to be cooked in the St. Mary's Dining Hall and presented at the dinners. And so we have a fresh one every year. A lot of medical dinners use paper mache heads year after year, but we have a real one. And which means it has to be disposed of at the end of the dinners. We can't keep it from year to year. And years ago, our students developed a strange tradition of taking that boar's head after the dinners and doing something crazy with it that they would then video or photograph. And it oftentimes involved me in that it was sort of a prank on me. And actually, the men from Notre Dame actually started this. And there's just I have hilarious memories from that over the years. The best one, though, was after we were doing all women Madrigal dinners, some of my students actually went to Martin's Custom Butchering and bought a second pig's head
Oh
and
my.
brought it back to South Bend. They didn't cook it, it was raw. And one evening after the Madrigal dinners, when I was rehearsing in the building late, they put it on my car as a hood ornament with saran wrap. And I mean, I came out from my rehearsal at 10 o'clock at night. Nobody was around, and there was my car with that thing on it. And it was one of the funniest moments of my time at St. Mary's. I left it on there for a day or two, but I was a little worried that it might fly off when I was driving down the toll road or something. It was just, I don't know. There have been others over the years, but that one takes the cake.
Yes, that does sound like a pinnacle moment. So, well, how do the students get to participate? Am I right that it's only juniors and seniors? And what's the
No,
process?
it can be anybody from any class, but they need to be a member of the women's choir. And
Ah,
sometimes from my second choir too, the collegiate choir. Primarily it's the women's choir, and it's strictly on a volunteer basis.
mm,
But once they're in that choir, I know they're capable of learning the music, and we have separate rehearsals for it. We usually have about 10 rehearsals. It's not something that we rehearse the whole semester. We
mm,
start usually after fall break and
mm,
rehearse twice a week and put it together. And the dancers are also students
mm.
studying dance, and most recently with Laurie Lowry, and she does an excellent job of recreating actual Renaissance dances with them.
Oh, lovely.
The actors recently have come from a combination of faculty and students, and the students love having the faculty involved with them. It really makes it a college-wide event. And our jugglers, we've had the same jugglers for years. We actually have three. Um, the Hanlon brothers and also Tim Wiegand, John and Josh Hanlon are wonderful. And you'll be able to watch John Hanlon give a sort of tutorial of how to juggle before our dinners this year. It's one of the advanced videos we prepared.
Oh, wonderful. That's great.
Our
Um,
costuming, I'm sorry, our costume, I might mention too, our costume is authentic. Miss Melissa Bialco, our costume designer, also is giving a little pre-Madrigal talk on the costumes she creates for the dinner and how you might be able to create something like that in your own home. Also, Michaela Duffy, who's our scenographer and technical director over the years and who has turned our Regina North Lounge into a beautiful looking banquet hall, is also going to talk about how you can turn your own home into a Renaissance hall. And so it should be lots of fun.
I think those elements of it to give yourself a little bit of atmosphere at home is really fun. And I personally am excited about the whole idea of ordering the dinner and having it come in and giving that feel as we enjoy the video music the play will be live, I believe, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
live on Zoom, yes.
live on Zoom, right?
Actually, I'm not sure how they're going to do that. I'm anxious to see it too.
Yes, we leave that to the technical geniuses. So. If listeners were interested in purchasing any kind of Madrigal music, do you have any particular recommendations? And does St. Mary's College have some recordings they can purchase?
Yes, we have one CD that we made several years ago of a lot of the Madrigal music, and that's available for purchase. I think it's available on Amazon.com. It
Mhm.
is, and it's called Harken All. And but if you just go to Amazon or any other place where you can buy recorded music, or Spotify or anything, and put in Madrigal, you'll find lots of excellent recordings out there. Of
There's a
course,
lot.
you should use ours, and that is the CD that we'll be using for a lot of the music at the dinners this Saturday, next Saturday, because we couldn't do it live. So
Yeah.
yeah. But we do have, we've collected lots of pictures of past Madrigal dinners to show during some of that music. And so, yeah, you'll see not as much has changed over the years, some new costumes, but if you see any of the old pictures, you will see some men in there that are no longer part of the singers.
Yeah.
And it should be fun for some of our alums to look at.
Yes.
And also people who've attended the dinners over the years. I mean, there are people who have made this part of their tradition for years. There's some companies that that make this part of their Christmas party for their employees, and families who have brought their children, and we've watched their children grow up through the years. And it's just it's really a wonderful tradition.
It is a wonderful tradition, and I'm so glad that we've been able to make this happen because I think in this time when people aren't getting together and concerts and so on aren't happening, it'll be a nice opportunity to give just a feel of Christmas celebration to each of us in our homes. So it's been a pleasure to talk with you today, Nancy. Thank you so much for sharing all this information with us.
Great to talk with you too. I hope people tune in. Reminder, there's no charge at all to watch the dinner. The only charge is if you want to purchase a dinner to be picked up at St. Mary's College. And the menu sounds great. So.
Yes, yeah, I thought it did too. So, all right. Well, happy holidays to you. Thank you so much, Nancy.
Same to you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.